Get ready to live fearlessly free with Heather Bunch.
Do you ever feel like Father has opened a new door? Maybe you got more clients, another speaking gig, a bigger opportunity. And your first thought, I don't know if I can handle this extra load. Does it ever overwhelm you when the growth you prayed for suddenly brings on a, oh, I don't think I could do this, panic? And you feel like running for the hills or maybe hiding under the blanket. I've been there. Have you ever felt like the very success that you want most is now stretching you so thin you are afraid you're going to break? Well, what if I told you that when Father calls you higher, He has also equipped you to carry it? Welcome to Live Fearlessly Free podcast. I'm your courageous coach, Heather Bunch, and I am here to help you, Christian women solopreneurs, go from feeling stuck, not enough, and fearful to taking focused, confident, and courageous action. We are growing ourselves, my friend, so we can grow our businesses and do the thing that Father's put in our heart to do. We're continuing our series from glory to greater glory, where we are answering the question, how do we turn both wins and failures into fuel for our next season of growth, to reach the summit where God is calling us to? So last time in episode 370, we actually talked about how glory requires greater glory. And so neither our wins or our failures are actually the summit, but what they are is fuel to help us for what's next. Nothing is ever wasted in the kingdom of God. And I am so thankful for that, my friend, because I got a lot of stuff that I feel like probably would have gone to waste if it wasn't for God's economy and the way He runs things. Now, today what we're going to be talking about is the next piece. Why feeling not enough actually means Father is expanding you. That doesn't actually mean we're not enough. Isn't that good news? Because greater glory always requires greater capacity. And so God is growing us into the person that can handle what He's called us to do. So when growth feels heavy, it is not proof that you're unqualified. It is proof Father is actually stretching you to carry more. So today is going to be for you if the very success that you prayed for now actually feels heavy and you can't handle it. Don't worry, we got you. And if you've ever stretched by growth and you've sat there and you've wondered, am I really cut out for this? Can I really do this? I got you covered, my friend. And if you're ready to learn how to expand your capacity to do and to be more of what God has called you to do and to be, this episode is for you. I want to take you back to a story that I was sharing with you in this episode. When I first launched Courageous Club, I launched it as a 12-month coaching program. Nobody signed up. And God used that failure as a way to fuel growth for the next season. And we tweaked it. So what I thought had failed and shelved the idea, God wasn't done with. Father wasn't done with. So He nudged me to rework it into a monthly coaching program, an ongoing program, because women need accountability. They need community. We don't need just another course and information, but we need people to come alongside us to help us grow together and not have to do it alone. And I also put it at a different price point because I am reaching new-ish solopreneurs with this. And so I put this in a range that was affordable. And that version is now growing. What's interesting is now this is where the growth is really happening because it is now stretching me. See, more women means more responsibility, more coaching prep, more, tech that I have to manage and set things up, and challenges that come along, and how do I help with the customer support, more leadership, more networking, and all the things that go with this. And at first, it really felt like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this. I'm not enough for this. God, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? But what I discovered was Father had already equipped me with tools, with people, and new rhythms to be able to carry this load, to grow my capacity to be able to do this thing. And maybe you felt the same way. Maybe you're excited about the doors that Father is opening, but you're still feeling unsure. Can I actually do this? The truth is, greater glory always requires greater capacity. And Father has a way of making sure you are ready. So let's break that down. So here is the truth about capacity. Greater glory always feels heavier. When you get new client you prayed for, the program you launched, the doors that Father is opening, it comes with new weight, new responsibility. We have to be able to grow our skills and our abilities. And if you have ever thought, I don't know if I can carry this, you are in good company. You are not alone. King David felt this too. After he killed Goliath, you know what? He wasn't a shepherd boy anymore. Oh no. Overnight, he became Israel's hero. And that glory came with Saul's jealousy. The eyes of the entire nation was now on him. And he had this responsibility of leadership that he didn't have before. David had to grow in this new season so he could do what God called him to do and to be. And that was to become eventually the king of Israel. And he could not carry this new season with yesterday's strength. Isaiah 54:2 reminds us, enlarge the place of your tents, stretch out the curtains of your dwelling. Do not spare them, lengthen your ropes, and strengthen your pegs. Now that is a picture of capacity. Father stretches us so we can carry more that he is calling us to. And a lot of what that is not just to carry the load. We have to actually grow internally, ourselves, our beliefs, our mindsets of who we think we are and what we think we're capable of in order to carry that load. Now, Philippians 4:13 reminds us, it promises us, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Christ is our power source behind our capacity. You are not meant to have to muster this up on your own. It is Christ himself in us, stretching us so we can carry more that he has called us to. Isn't that good news? We don't have to do it alone. And the best part is, he doesn't just stretch us and then leave us on our own. No. He equips us. He gives us rhythms to strengthen us and systems and support that multiplies us. That is how capacity expands. Okay, so let's get practical. How do you actually expand your capacity to carry greater glory in Christ? Let's break that down. The first way is this. Father equips what he expands. You see, when Father calls you to greater glory, he doesn't just send you empty-handed. He equips you with everything you need to walk it out. Strength, wisdom, people, provision. It's all yours for the taking. 2 Peter 1:3, for his divine power has granted us everything pertaining to life and godliness through the true knowledge of him who has called us by his own glory and excellence. I love that word everything. It means in the Greek, everything. God's given us everything we need for life and for godliness through the knowledge of Him who has called us by His own glory and excellence. Hebrews 13:20-21. Now may the God of peace equip you in every good thing to do His will, working in us that which is pleasing in His sight through Jesus Christ. It is through Jesus that God is working in us, but He is equipping us with everything we need to do what He's called us to do and to be all He's called us to be, to grow our capacity so that we can reach the summit of what He's called us to. Let's go back to the Everest climbers. We've been talking about Everest. We've been talking about David throughout this series. And when you look at those climbers, they don't set out without gear, without guides, and without oxygen for the higher altitudes. No, they need their supplies. They get all supplied up before they take off for the mountain. They even prep themselves for months ahead of time, growing their capacity to be able to handle more, doing all kinds of different hikes and summits before they actually go to Everest. David, remember, after Goliath, he had more responsibility and had to grow his capacity, but God didn't leave him there. No, Father surrounded David with Jonathan, who became like his best friend. Jonathan was King Saul's son, and Jonathan knew David was called to be the next king. Should have been Jonathan according to, the way things worked. But Jonathan came alongside David to support him and what God's called him to do. God gave David also Samuel, who was one of the prophets. He was the one that anointed David to be king. But he had him as wisdom and a guide, his Sherpa, his Yoda, to help him along the way. And then after David had ran from Saul and he's in hiding, God started sending him mighty men, people that came along and supported David, who later helped him in battles. Each one was equipping David to carry the weight of leadership. When we feel supported, it actually releases oxytocin. Oxytocin is our connection hormone. And what it does is it actually lowers our stress levels and it boosts our resilience. So we're literally able to carry more when we know that we're not carrying it alone, when we are not carrying what God has called us to do alone. Father might equip you with mentors who speak into your life. They speak wisdom, maybe to help you with that next step. God's given me Lethea is one of my great mentors and support system, but He's also been bringing me other people along the way and colleagues in the community. God's giving you tools. You know what? We have AI at our fingertips to help us. This is not something to be afraid of. It is a tool to help us speed things along, to carry some of the weight. There's all kinds of systems and apps and journaling practices we can do, all kinds of things to help lighten the load. And don't forget community. Women who remind you that you're not building alone. This is powerful, my friend. This is how Father is equipping you. One of the ways that He's doing that. If Father has called you to more, He will equip you for more. Your job is to open your eyes and receive the help that He is providing for you. So when that friend comes along and says, hey, let me just help you. What can I do to help you? And you go, oh, it's fine. I don't want to bother you. No, friend. That is when you actually give them something to do to help them carry the load, because Father's bringing them to do that with you. And one of the biggest ways that He equips us is by growing our rhythms. So now this is our daily habits that give us strength to carry more without burning out. So the second thing that we need to do is this. We need to build rhythms that strengthen you. You see, you don't expand your capacity by hustling harder, right? We got the whole hustle society, you know. Lots of gurus have brought that in. You just got to hustle more. Get to it. And look, there is nothing wrong with working hard. There is godliness in that. But what we really need is we need to expand by living in stronger daily and weekly and monthly rhythms. Think worship, the word, our work, our rest. Rinse and repeat. Rhythms put strength in our soul and order into our days, my friend. Matthew 11:28-30. Now, this is in the Message translation. Walk with me and work with me. Watch how I do it. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. Isn't that good? The unforced rhythms of grace. That is how our walk with Father should be. But rhythms keep us going, keeps us in a pattern, keeps us consistent. Isaiah 40:31, yet those who wait for the Lord will gain new strength, will renew their strength, is what some translations say. Going back to our climbers in Everest. Climbers climb high and then they sleep low and take rest days to acclimate. So they literally create a rhythm for their body. And what that's doing is that's helping them to carry more at higher altitudes. David, before the throne, David lived in the field and harp rhythms. He was out there in the field. He was worshiping. He was practicing the presence of God. He was working. He was worshiping. He was practicing the presence of God. Those habits held when the pressure hit. When the lion came and the bear came and then Goliath came and then Saul's trying to kill him. Like, the rhythms kept him going. Our capacity grows with a stretch and recovery rhythm. Think about when you're lifting weights. You lift these weights. It's literally tearing down your muscles. And then you rest. And then you lift again. And then your body goes, oh my gosh, we need to start growing our capacity to do more. Sleep works the same way. It consolidates learning. It's a stress and then recovery. Stress and then recovery. Prayer, slow breathing can move your system out of fight, flight, and freeze into rest and restore. So we can think more clearly. There's actually a book that I got recently on this, and it was about stress and how it was actually good for you. And I was like, well, that's a concept, huh? But if you look at the rhythms that God created, it really is. When you push yourself out of your comfort zone to do something scary, you don't do it because you're confident, but as you stretch yourself and you do new things, you grow your confidence. And then you've got that rest period, and then you stretch yourself again. And each time you do that, you're growing your courage, you're generating your courage, and then you are becoming more confident. You realize, oh my gosh, I can do more than I thought I could do. It is amazing how it works that way. So here's a few examples that solopreneurs can have. You could create a first 15. So the first 15 minutes of your day, you could do 5 minutes of worship, 5 minutes of the word, 5 minutes in prayer. I love my personal one is what I do is I go in my closet and my first 15 is stretching. and I stretch, and I turn on this app called the Pause app by Wild at Heart and John Eldridge. I am so loving it. And so as I'm stretching, I'm listening and I'm praying, and it's got all these prayers that you can do. I'm going through this Experience Jesus I'm going through it for the second time. It's like a 20-day program. And that is the first 15 minutes of my day. It focuses me, it relaxes me, and it gets me ready. As you're doing your work, you could have a 90-15 focus rhythm. So 90 minutes of deep work and then 15 minutes of a reset. Now, personally, 90 minutes is typically a little too long for me. I got a little ADHD brain going on. So you could do a 50-10, right? 50 minutes of work, 10-minute reset. Or you could even do a 25-minute deep work or sprint and 5 minutes of rest. And during your rest, literally get up out of your chair or from whatever you're doing, take a break, walk, breathe, pray, stretch, do a little dance party, like whatever you want to do. But create a rhythm of your work. It is amazing. I know I've showed you guys this before, but if you're new, this right here is a Pomodoro timer, and it makes it really easy. And I can turn it on, and so I can go into a 50-minute. It'll just go straight to 50 minutes. It'll do 50 minutes, start counting down. And then when I'd want to do my 10 minutes, boom, there's a 10-minute. Or I can do, like I said, 25 minutes. Here it is. And then, boom, 5 minutes. It's beeping like crazy going, what are you doing to me? I don't know what to do. When you get in a work rhythm, it's the stress and the reset. The stress and the reset. And you're going to get so much more done doing that. Now let's think weekly rhythm. Sabbath. No brain work. You got a whole day to let Father just refill you. Or do something different on that Sabbath, right? Content cadence. That's another type of rhythm you can do. If you set up, all right, I'm going to do 2 posts and 1 short live each week on the same day, on the same days, right? For me, Monday's podcast day. That's my rhythm. Monday is podcast day. And so I have gotten in a rhythm that's when I work on my podcast. Most of my client work I've got set on Wednesdays. I have a few other times where I put it in, but it's typically Wednesdays. Thursdays is networking, right? So I create these rhythms and these patterns, this stress and this rest that really help me grow my capacity more. It makes me more efficient. It'll do the same for you. I'd recommend picking one rhythm to start this week. So you could do the Pomodoro timer, which is awesome. So those work rhythms, you could focus on your content, focus on a weekly Sabbath, whatever it is, wherever you feel like, hey man, this would be a good place for me to start. Do that. And then protect it like it's an appointment with your future self. Okay. You wouldn't ditch out on your best friend, right? So don't ditch out on you. Make that appointment, get that rhythm going. Rhythms build your strength. Now, let's multiply your capacity. So more doesn't always mean more for you. So number 3 is this: build systems that multiply you. See, capacity isn't just about our personal stamina. Yes, we are growing our personal capacity. We're personally growing ourselves, but it's also about systems and support. Remember, God brings us people, and that can also be systems that are support systems that help us carry more of the load so we don't have to do it all by ourselves. Exodus 18. In this story, it starts in verse 17. Moses' father-in-law comes to Moses, and he watches Moses, and Moses goes, he sits on, his little seat, and all the people line up, and they got issues. And so they're going to go to Moses, and they're going to find out, hey man, how do I deal with this? And so literally all day long, Moses dealt with all the people's issues. Whew. That's a long day. And so Moses' father-in-law comes to him and says, hey, this thing you're doing is not good. You are going to wear out. Select able men and let them judge the people all the time. And then whatever the big things are, then they can bring them to you. Moses then sets up a system where other people were handling the load that was going on, and then they just brought Moses the big things. Ecclesiastes 4:9. 2 people are better than 1, for they can help each other succeed. Listen, look at Everest. Nobody summits alone. They go in teams. They have ladders, and they have fixed lines, and they have their supplies, and they got Sherpas, baby, because those Sherpas have been up and down that mountain multiple times, and they know the way. David, God gave him mighty men, and he gave him a leadership structure, so he didn't have to do the battles himself. He wasn't out there just fighting on his own. Okay? You, my friend, need systems to multiply you. Your working memory is limited. And have you ever noticed, I think it gets more limited the older we get. I used to be able to carry so much more in my brain than I can now. I got to write it down. And I love paper. I do kind of a hybrid system where I have a calendar that's digital. I love my paper planner. Currently, I'm back using my Full Focus Planner by Michael Hyatt. And my brain, it just cannot handle it as much. So we need checklists, templates, automations. And what they do is they offload our mental load. They reduce our decision fatigue. I love Steve Jobs used to wear the same dang thing all the time. Why? He was eliminating decision fatigue because he had so many bigger other decisions to do. Clothes wasn't one of them. Now, I personally like dressing up, so that's not decision fatigue for me. But choose what is and automate that. Get help where you need it. What this does is it actually frees up our prefrontal cortex for real leadership and real creativity. So we're not have all these special, whatever's running around in our head. Einstein, I remember somebody had asked him about a phone number, and he's like, I don't know. He goes, I can go find it in the phone book. So he didn't bother remembering whatever he could find at his fingertips. So if like Mr. Genius Man himself doesn't even bother to remember phone numbers, I can remember my husband's, that's about it. But everything else, I'm like, I can find it in a phone, and I got backups of that. I don't clog my brain with that stuff. So here's some everyday examples for solopreneurs. All right, client onboarding kit. Like, you have clients that come in, have a simple checklist, your welcome email sequence, your intake form. So you're just rinsing and repeating, going back to the rhythms, but that is helping you to onboard and not have to remember every time. Now, what do I do? Oh, shoot, I forgot to send them, right? Booking links. I love booking links. Calendly, Google links. Your CRM provides a link. My CRM provides links where I can create different calendars. Then you're not having to go back and forth. Like, does this work or does that work? Does this work or does that work? Oh, no, that doesn't work. Well, let's try this. That's one way to do it. Follow-up email templates for discovery calls. Hey, you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. Have those follow-up templates. Repeatable content systems. Okay, maybe you have a monthly theme. Maybe you're batching your posts in one sitting. Maybe you have Canva templates. Like, what can you create into systems? With your money, do you have invoice templates? Maybe you want to start creating a tiny team, a VA for 3 to 5 hours per month to handle. Maybe it's just your scheduling and reminders, or it's formatting. My husband helps me. He's my mini team. I get him the content. I give it to him. He makes sure it's posted. He will, edit my email or my video. He'll put the front end and the back end on and go, here you go. He doesn't spend a lot of time with it, but he gives me a little bit of time each week. Maybe you don't have a husband that can do that, but you could hire somebody on Fiverr, okay? Or a VA that can do it. There's so many people that are set up to help you with that. Choose one system this week. Maybe it's onboarding, a booking link, follow-up templates. If possible, assign one small piece to a helper, even if it's 1 or 2 hours. Maybe your kids are getting older and you know what? My kids are creative and they're really good with tech. Hey, employ them to do it. And watch your capacity multiply as you do. So, yes, you may feel, Heather, I am not enough. I'm not enough for this. But remember, Father's equipping you. You are strengthening yourself with rhythms, and you are multiplying yourself with systems. And you are going to be able to carry that load to greater glory because your capacity is expanding. All right, my friends, let's recap. Greater glory requires greater capacity. So if you're going to step into more fully what Father is calling you to, and maybe you're just feeling like, I ain't even halfway up the mountain yet, we have got to grow our capacity so we can do and be more. And how do we do that? We got to remember Father equips who he expands. Now, when Father has called you to greater glory, he gives you everything you need to carry it. Strength, wisdom, resources, people. Don't forget that. Number 2, build rhythms that strengthen you. Rhythms of worship, rhythms for your work, rhythms for your rest, rhythms for your reflection. Maybe it's a weekly review. What this does is expand your strength. Remember, stress isn't always bad. Stress and then rest. Stress and then rest actually strengthens you so you can handle more without burning out. Then the third thing is this: build systems that multiply you. Systems, tools, AI, support, people. They lighten your load and let you serve more people that you are called to serve without actually everybody having to depend on you. So, feeling not enough isn't proof you're failing. It's proof Father is stretching your capacity. He's equipping you, your rhythms are strengthening you, and your systems are multiplying you, my friend. Courageous action. This week, you are going to expand your capacity with 3 small, powerful steps. Number 1, spot the equipping. Ask Father, what have you already given me to carry this season? Like, what have you already given me to help out? Might be a person that you're not utilizing. Might be a tool that you're like, yeah, I tried that chat GPT thing, but I don't know. It might be a word of wisdom from Father. Write that down, okay? Maybe it's setting office hours for the first time. Maybe you just, because you've been higgly-piggling your time, right? Maybe you're like, I'm going to work from this point to this point. Maybe it's setting up that first 15 with Father. Maybe it's scheduling a true Sabbath or setting boundaries. Whatever it is, just make that rhythm. Pick that rhythm and write that down. Then, third thing is this: create one system. Okay, put one easy system in place. Maybe it's to create a booking link. Maybe it's to create a client checklist or a template. You know, there's an email that you seem like you always send all the time. Make a template out of that, right? Create one system. So, remember, capacity isn't about doing more in your own strength. It's about letting Father stretch you, strengthen you, and setting you up to carry greater glory with him. If this episode has encouraged you, would you share it with a friend, please? And don't forget to hit subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. And hey, if you are enjoying this episode, could I ask a favor? Would you, if you listen to it, would you rate and review it on your favorite podcast app? That'll actually help the algorithm be able to get it to other people that need it. Remember, friends, we are climbing from glory to greater glory. So next time, what we're going to do is we're going to step into the third truth: is greater capacity requires greater surrender. Because sometimes the hardest part of growth isn't letting go of the bad. It's actually letting go of the good to receive the greater. We're going to talk about that. So if you've ever wrestled with control, yeah, control freaks, I see you. Timing, don't worry, I got that issue too. Or releasing something that you thought you needed, this episode is going to set you free, my friend. You have got this, and Father's got you. Thank you a bunch for listening or for watching. And until next time, live fearlessly free.